Imagine your father is a former president and your mother a senior cabinet executive, but now they stand on opposite sides of the political spectrum ahead of the May 29 polls. This morning we speak to Thuthukile Zuma, the daughter of former President Jacob Zuma and Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. In a recent ex-post, Thuthukile posted Thuthukile, who's also a member of the ANC and a member of its youth league, posted that these are my parents. I'm so proud to be born of these two human beings. I'm also proud to be a member and leader of the ANC. Both are my realities and both will never change. And she now joins us in studio. Good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. What prompted that tweet?
Morning, Aldrin, and morning to the viewers. Well, what prompted the tweet is that it's the truth. So I just tweeted the truth. Yeah,
but there must have been something that had triggered it, that, like, I want to share this post. What was that thing?
Those were my thoughts at the moment in which if you see my Twitter feed, I post what I'm thinking at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are my thoughts at that particular moment.
Yeah. Does it concern you at all, or like the tug of war sometimes that would happen, that on one end, for instance, you have your father, who's a former president of the ANC, now endorsing the MK party. On the other hand, you have your mother, of course, who's still a member of the cabinet. She did say that she will be retiring after the end of the 6th administration. And people trying to pull you in different directions. I've seen some of the responses to the ex as well.
Well, with regards to people trying to pull me in different directions, I have one direction, and that is being a member and a leader of the ANC in Greater Johannesburg. People will always have their opinions, they'll always have their views, but they always have had their views. The views and opinions didn't start in December 16. They started really as far as I can remember. Yeah. I don't remember a time in my life where people didn't have views about my parents and, by extension, views about me. So that's kind of always been my reality, unfortunately.
Yeah. And how do you navigate that space?
Well, I think one, a thick skin, but two, is just to remain focused, because I am an activist. I joined the Youth League when I was 16 years old. And what prompted me to join the Youth League is not people's views about anything, but it's about my consciousness and my political convictions about where I think this country should go, about the plight of black people, Africans in particular, about the transformation that's needed in this country. And so what I do is I spend my energy and my time pursuing that within my political home, which is the ANC.
Yeah, and that's another interesting bit about that as well, is that, well, your brother as well, Thuthukile, he's launched his own political party as well. And I wonder sometimes, amongst you guys as siblings, the conversations that you have about the politics and the political landscape in the country.
Well, right now, everyone's busy campaigning. No, but on a serious note, yeah, everyone's campaigning, so it's easy. But look, you know, there's no two human beings. I've never met two human beings, even identical twins, that are exactly alike. And so whether you are family, whether you are married, whether you are, you know, however close your relations are, no two human beings are the same. And so within a particular context, in this instance family, there'll always be different views and different opinions. And so it's nothing really shocking. I don't think you've met two people who are exactly alike.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think part of what the ANC fought for is the right, the freedom to associate.
Yes.
Is the right to belong to any political formation that you want to. That is what the ANC fought for. That's what they envisioned. So they are living out exactly what the ANC fought for them to do.
Yeah. And that for me is such an interesting reality, because ordinarily when you think of family, you think of unit, you think of sometimes perhaps maybe they may have the same political not necessarily interest, but political home that they'll choose, that this is the political home that we choose. And at some point, for you guys as well, there was this one political home, and that political home was the ANC. Things have now changed a bit. You still remain, though, a member of the ANC, even going as far as contesting to become the treasurer of the ANC Youth League. So you steadfast on this is the home that I have chosen for myself. Do you guys, though, as siblings, debate the policies of the ANC, debate the policies of Umkhonto-weSizwe political party, debate the policies of the All Change Party?
Well, I mean, look, we debate everything. Yeah. Even outside, even when, you know, a year ago, we debate everything and have different views on everything, right? My parents have 4 children together. I'm the last born of my parents' kids. I'm the only one who is politically active of the 4 of us. But if you were to sit around when we have lunch together, you would hear a myriad of different views and opinions. That's just what happens when people are together. No 2 people are alike.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything untoward. Yes, of course, I come from an ANC family. I've got parents and uncles who are freedom fighters, who joined, the armed struggle, and who belonged to the ANC. And so we'll always be an ANC family. And that I don't think will ever change. But of course, people have different views. People politically express themselves differently. And I think that's fine. That's the democracy that we fought for as the ANC. But I think for me personally, my preoccupation at this point in time is ensuring that I campaign, I make sure that as many young people in Johannesburg region and all people who are registered to vote go to the ballot and vote for the African National Congress. Yeah.
Do you call your parents comrade? And I asked this question on the basis of it was Kebi Mapatso's funeral. And you were asked to deliver the speech that was written by your mum, who wasn't there. And as part of the introduction, it says, Comrade Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. And it hit me that I remember there was a book that was speaking about Governor Mbeki and Thabo Mbeki, and there was an instance that is relayed where Governor Mbeki referred to Thabo Mbeki as comrade, or Thabo Mbeki referred to his father as comrade. I wonder, do you guys do the same? Do you say Comrade Jacob Zuma, Comrade Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma? Does that happen at all?
I mean, Aldrin, come on. It depends on the context.
Yes.
Ubaba. That's just what it is. But obviously, when I'm doing my work as an ANC comrade and as an ANC leader, I afford everybody the respect that we afford each other as comrades. And so even if somebody who is my mom's age is not my biological mother, it's just respect. It's African culture. That's what we are taught. But in the context as well, I mean, he is President Zuma. He will never not be President Zuma. She is Umama Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. That's who they are as well. It's part of who they are.
Yeah. Okay. The MK party and your father supporting the MK party, did you guys discuss it at all? Did it come as a shock before December the 16th?
Did we discuss what?
The formation of the MK party, or even his support for the MK party.
I don't know the details of the formation of the MK party. In terms of my father's support for the MK party, what I will say is I think it's quite unfortunate for the ANC to lose a member. I think every time the ANC loses even one member, it's unfortunate. In this instance, it's not just a member, it's a leader, it's a stalwart, it's a president, it's somebody who's revered both in the country and outside. And so when the ANC loses somebody like that and that person says they will be voting for and campaigning for a different formation, it's quite a difficult circumstance for the ANC. And I think it speaks to the way in which we deal with internal contradictions as the ANC over time, not just about MK. Whether you look at MK, ACT, COPE, EFF, somewhere, somehow, I think after elections, the ANC must introspect how it manages internal contradictions and differences to avoid such a situation. But as I said, for now, the most important thing is to defend our democratic gains. The ANC, since 1912, has been engaged in struggle and has delivered freedom, and in the last 30 years has improved South Africa and improved the lives of South Africans, particularly the poor, the working class, the Africans and, black people. And I think what we need to do is make sure that we defend those democratic gains and we give the ANC a mandate, one, to improve where there are weaknesses, but to continue the good work and ensure that they create a better South Africa and we reach the national democratic society that we envision.
I just quickly want to put up one final post, one that you actually recently tweeted. Just quickly look at this post that we want to put on your screen. Do you remember this post?
I post so much every day.
History has no blank pages.
Yes,
and that, of course, was during the period of the Zuma Must Fall era, where you had various political parties marching and calling on former President Jacob Zuma to be fired. But personally, for you as an ANC member, what is it that you take from that particular moment that played out? And do you think that there are lessons to be learned, even from that moment?
Well, look, I think the ANC is an organization, a big organization, with different perspectives in it. They call it a broad church, right? And so at any given point in time, there'll be differing views, but there'll be an ANC leadership. And I think what's important is that, well, what I intended to communicate with that tweet is all of a sudden today you have political opposition parties who like to take advantage of differences within the ANC and leaders of the ANC. And we must never forget that their objective is one thing, and that is to see the ANC out of power. Opposition parties, their objective is to see the ANC out of power. So when there are internal challenges within the ANC, they will use those challenges, befriend so-and-so, not befriend so-and-so, criticize so-and-so. It was Zuma must fall for 9 years, and now Zuma's the greatest person for somebody like the EFF, right? But I'm simply saying the ANC needs to find a way to manage its internal contradictions and ensure that it remains hegemonic across South African society. And that is what the focus must be after elections. Yeah. And we mustn't get sidetracked into sideshows. So that is what that tweet was about. It was just about remaining focused as the ANC, ensuring that we retain our hegemony, we continue to lead society as we've been doing very well, and not really make sideshows the main show. Yes.
Well, do you think there's a decisive victory possible for the ANC, specifically in Gauteng, considering that the polls are suggesting that the ANC could receive around 30% of the vote?
Well, the politics of polls has its own politics, and I won't get into all of that. But what I will say, I think that the ANC will win. I think the ANC will retain its majority and it will form government. I'm quite confident. It will form government and it will continue to ensure that it improves South Africans. It will improve on the weaknesses. And we will make sure, us as activists in the ANC, that we make sure the ANC is not resting on its laurels. The ANC is attending to the economic questions. The ANC is attending to unemployment, attending to the challenges that our people face on a daily basis. We are inside the ANC. We're activists of the ANC. We love the people of this country. We wake up every day to serve them, and we won't allow the African National Congress not to lead South Africa. We also won't allow the African National Congress to rest on its laurels and not do what the people expect them to do.
Thuthukile Zuma, thank you so much for your time. Let's see what happens after the May polls on the 29th of May. Will there be a decisive victory for the ANC, specifically in Gauteng, also considering what the polls are suggesting, what we should expect? That is Thuthukile Zuma, the daughter of former President Jacob Zuma and Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, and also a member of the ANC and the ANC Youth League.